Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, I've been speaking out a lot about the police lately. And it's clear that many police departments have evolved into an us versus them culture that is not much different from gang culture. If you look, for example, at the history of the Baltimore PD and their behavior since the Freddie Gray case, this is not a professional law enforcement agency. It's a gang. The bad cops are not a few bad apples. It's the entire department. So what can be done to fix the mess that our police departments have become? Surprisingly, an example can be found right here in Los Angeles. See, it's not enough to encourage diversity, because the department, the culture, shapes the people that come into it. So it doesn't do any good to have the people look like the community if they're not a part of the community. That doesn't mean they have to live in the areas they police, but they do have to be involved in a different way. They can't just be driving through in their patrol cars. They have to get out, walk around, cultivate relationships. A perfect example is happening right here in Los Angeles in Watts. The police meet regularly with community leaders, which means that they hear about complaints, not just when a big incident happens, but they're hearing about complaints that the community might have on an ongoing basis, and are able to take corrective action before it becomes a crisis. They also hear about the concerns of citizens. That helps them to do a better job of enforcing the law. For example, the citizens will tell them where the gangs are hanging out, what corners are being used to push drugs, things like that. The police also involve themselves with church activities and community activities, visit schools regularly, and they've even started local sports leagues where the police coach some of the area youth. And when something happens that is controversial, they are at the table explaining their side to community leaders and hearing what the community has to say. As a result, the community feels empowered, and as a result of this, gangs have lost much of their power because the community is no longer silent. They communicate and cooperate. So more crimes get solved. Now, things are not perfect. They will never be. And in a police department as large as the LAPD, there are always going to be controversial incidents. There are always going to be a certain amount of police that need to be gotten rid of. But when you think about the police relationship with the Watts community under Daryl Gates and compare it to what it is now, it's like night and day. There has been a significant change in the culture of the Los Angeles police. And if it can happen here, if it can happen in Watts, it can happen anywhere. Thanks for listening.